All right, Norm. So, what have you been doing now since you left the NFL?
Well, when I left the NFL in 1999, starting about 2001, I got into real estate. And real estate was a lot of fun for a while until the market kind of really crashed. But even while I was in real estate, I was looking around for some other things. I always kind of like to really keep my fingers on the pulse of what's going on. And one of the advantages of being in the NFL and being a so-called celebrity is you meet a lot of people and a lot of influential people and a lot of folks that are really on the cutting edge of things that are just going on in the business world. And I got very fortunate that a lot of these people would, I'd be one of the first calls as I'd find about something coming down the line. And it's always great to be first in on something that's going to be big.
So there really is something to that. It's who you know.
Well, a lot of it is who you know. I don't know anybody out there in the listening audience that wants to be the last to know anything. I would think most everybody, if they had a choice, they'd want some, say, insider information, so to speak, and really be on the cutting edge of something that's big. And I wanted to be that person too, and so I created those relationships with people who are on the cutting edge, and when those things come down the line, I would hear about them very, very early on.
Right. And you mentioned to me many times, Norm, that you specialize in business development. So you really are open to anything that you can make money in. So since you left football, other than real estate, you've actually been very successful in several different types of businesses, haven't you?
Well, exactly. Business development is very important, and I'll clarify a little bit. I would not say that I do anything that would make money, but I want to be positioned correctly when there is something that just makes so much sense. Technology these days, the internet, there's so many things that are right around the corner that people are working on that when they're launched, they move fast, they're important, and I want to be there. And I'm going to share something that fits that mold with the audience today.
Okay, so everything you're saying makes sense there. So up to today, so what are you currently working on, Norm, right now that's keeping you up at night?
Well, and it really is keeping me up at night. There was a couple nights ago I could not sleep, and as I find out more and more information about what I'm going to share, it makes so much sense. And probably about a week ago, I really had. I think this is a Microsoft moment. So many people out there are trying to do something to make some additional money. They either want to or they need to. They're fed up with what's going on with their situation, or they are afraid that something drastic or desperate is going to go on with their situation. So there's a lot of people out there getting clever and trying to do something to create, say, a second source of income, or to protect themselves from something dramatically bad that might happen, that they might see in the future, or with our economy or whatever. And I learned long ago that if you could help people do what they're currently doing, as opposed to compete with what they're currently doing, you're in a good place. And I'll kind of give an example. Back in the gold mining days, when everybody was trying to get rich by either mining for gold or panning for gold, not many of those people got rich. Maybe they made some money, but the people who did actually get rich, and almost overnight, were the people supplying the picks and the shovels and the tools for those gold miners. Well, I discovered some cutting edge program right now that is just exactly that. It is a tool. It's a tool for almost anybody in any business that can help them further themselves along, make more money in exactly what they're doing. And in a nutshell, kind of a high-level overview, that's exactly what this is that I've landed on. And it is cutting edge, and it is brand spanking new. It's so new we haven't even pre-launched yet. We're in what's called whisper launch. So this is something that I'm extremely excited about, and it is in fact keeping me up at night.
Well, it sounds very intriguing. Can you maybe elaborate a little bit? What's the difference between somebody that would get into a traditional business versus what you're talking about, where you're dealing with tools that almost any business could benefit from? Maybe give me the difference in scenarios there, why you see it so much better to maybe be working in the tool business versus being dedicated to like one industry.
Well, that's a good question, and I'll kind of explain it this way. For quite some time, again, I've been somewhat first call on a lot of different opportunities, and a lot of people said, hey, everything's going mobile. Mobile phones, mobile this, mobile that. And I would look at some projects and just never could get really excited about them. Well, now, part of this marketing platform, this is really a marketing suite of products that includes mobile, it includes the internet, it includes a few different things that is kind of a one-stop shop. Somebody pointed this out to me the other day, and it just hit home with me. They said, how many times do you leave your house without your wallet, and you say, dang, I forgot my wallet? Well, I'll be okay. I'll just drive the speed limit, and maybe I wasn't buying anything, and I come back and get my wallet when I get back home. And they would say, how many times when you leave your house you forgot your cell phone, what do you do? Well, almost every time I turn around and go get my cell phone. I can't be without my cell phone. And I'd even ask the listening audience out there, how far away is your cell phone right now? Probably half the audience is on there texting or doing something with that phone. That phone is so important to us these days. It is so close. It's such a part of our everything that we do during the day that if you can do something with that cell phone that makes sense, then you've got a tool. And so one of the tools in this marketing suite is a texting tool. Well, a lot of us who have gone into a Starbucks might see the little table tent on Starbucks that says text 12345 or text Starbucks to 12345 or something to that effect, and you might get a fresh cup of coffee. Well, what they're actually doing is they're capturing your information, so they want to market back to you and say, hey, come in to Starbucks and get a free latte or whatever. They want you to come back in the door. They want to market to you. And those big companies have an advantage. They can afford to go out and spend tens of thousands of dollars, maybe even hundreds of thousands of dollars to create a corporate system like that. But there's nothing out there for the individual or the small to medium-sized business. And this is just one little item that we have for people, for individuals, for small business.
Well, mobile marketing is really exciting, and you shared with me some very interesting facts about texting and the evolution of how people went away from being excited about getting emails to now being excited about text messaging. Can you tell us a little bit about that and why text messaging really is very effective as far as marketing for businesses?
Oh, sure. Back in the day, and I'm old enough to remember when email was new and exciting, and your computer would speak to you and say, hey, you've got mail, and we were all excited to go in there and see who had emailed us and open our email, and we actually read it. Well, that has kind of come full circle. Not only do I not even look at my junk mail folder, but I at least 10 to 1 get rid of emails without reading them, 10 to 1 in my regular inbox, and it's just actually annoying what email is today. And very, very few people that are out there marketing through email, have a real tough battle. One time it was a great way to market. Now people have been spammed and beat up so much through email that if you have a campaign and you even get 10% of people to open your email at even some point, you're doing really well. But the numbers usually are much, much lower than 10%. And you have no control when they open or find your email, if they do in fact open it. Well, texting, on the other hand, a whole different animal. Most the numbers that I've heard, 97% of texts are open within an hour, and most are open within the first 15 minutes. That's extremely powerful. If you can reach a customer in less than an hour, or even in 15 minutes, or even instantly, that is power. And almost any business can use this if they have a customer base, if they're trying to sell or move a product or can offer discounts, and they want people to know very quickly about what they might have to sell or to offer. And a perfect example is every bar, restaurant, tavern, sports bar, you name it, that has happy hour trying to bring people in. If they can reach their customers instantly, they've really got something, and that's what we're bringing to the table.
Well, I see a huge value in that, and as you know, we talked about how Groupon became the fastest company ever to $1 billion, because what they did is they established a way for businesses to quickly liquidate excess inventory or sell large amounts of items at a deep discount, but it's still, even though it was faster than traditional business, it still takes some time to set up daily deals. So since Groupon proved that there was a huge market for that, can you elaborate on how now even going to text messaging for like a pizza parlor or something that has excess food towards the end of the evening or some kind of business, how that would work even faster than a daily deal like Groupon?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, again, if you can reach that customer base, and this is what it might look like for, it could be a bagel shop, could be a little restaurant, could be a bar. But people come in, maybe you have a table tent that says, hey, text. And one of the things this company did is they went out and bought the short code 75,000. So every business individual using this texting program can use 75,000, something very easy to remember. So a bar that wants to bring people in today, maybe Tuesdays are notoriously slow for them. So on Tuesday, they set up a text blast. Hey, come in today for happy hour and get free order of half nachos or whatever they want to do. 10% off your bill, who knows? Well, yeah. Let me start that one over. The way this might work is at a restaurant, bar, could be a bagel shop or whatever. First, you've got to capture their information. So you entice them with something. They come into your shop and you say, hey, get 10% off your meal today, or maybe 20% off your meal when you come in after Saturday. Who knows what it is, but you put some kind of enticing thing out there and you say, hey, text Pizza Joe to 75,000. And the reason it's 75,000 is that's what this company went out and bought. Very easy to remember number. Everybody can remember 75,000. And so every company will have their own unique thing that says text, like for example, Pizza Joe's to 75,000. Could be text. You can be very creative. And so once they have gathered that information, somebody has texted that information, they get pinged back a text that says, hey, here, use this text, show your waitress or waiter, and get 10% off that day. Something like that. But now what that business has done is captured that information. So as they create more and more people on this texting blast, they can start really marketing to people who have already been into their establishment, already are customers, and they can now give them exciting reasons to come back in the store. I mean, if we're talking about brick and mortar, and this can be an internet business, could be an online business, this even could be used for network marketing. It doesn't matter, but right now I'm talking about brick and mortar. What do brick and mortar locations want? They want traffic. They want people coming back in. So let's say it's a bagel shop. Maybe it was a slow day. They got a lot of bagels left. Boom, they hit a text message, come back in, get a dozen bagels, half price to today only. So now instead of throwing all their bagels in the dumpster, now they've got people coming in. They're buying them by the dozen. They're getting rid of their inventory. It's not being thrown away. So this could go for coffee shops. You name it. This guy's